business policy. Hello everyone, my name is Lina Christy Torres and would like to welcome you to our business policy class under the advisory of our instructor Sir Raul Inocando. And today's discussion is about the strategic implications of branding. But first, let us to know what does branding really mean. So VTR, roll over.
As you can see, brands are everywhere. But brand is not just a logo. It is not just a corporate identity. It is not just about advertising and marketing. But brand is a confidence, a passion, a belonging. It is one that you will take into action. It is a security and a set of unique values. Originally, brand was discovered in 1650s. It is made for cattle, a stamp of ownership. And then later, brands are burned on red wine wooden cases, a guarantee of good source and good quality. Brands are big business. Like in 2010, Coca-Cola is one of the best brands in the world, which is the total market value of the company for more than $70 billion. And that is more than the gross domestic product of Bolivia, Kenya, and Bahrain combined. In 1886, only 9 Coke bottles were sold. And in the year 2010, more than 1,600,000,000 bottles were sold, enough for every person in London to drink 206 bottles each day. Many things can be branded. Products, services, people, places, and even religions. Brands can take your company and your customers to new places and even space. An American business executive, Meg Whitman, once said that when people use your brand as a verb, well, that is remarkable. Brands guarantee quality, evoke desire, and help us belong. But now, brands work in different ways. Brands are finding info such as Google, sharing films such as YouTube, selling stuff such as eBay, and making friends such as Facebook, adding to knowledge such as Wikipedia, in ways we never could before. And these brands says, use me. And so that is branding.
Branding also consists of transformation of the product category. First, brands are a direct consequence of the strategy of market segmentation and product differentiation. As companies seek to better fulfill the expectations of specific customers, they concentrate on providing their customers consistently and repeatedly. The first task in brand analysis is to define precisely all the brand that injects into the product or service and how the brand transforms it, like what attributes materialize, what advantages are created, what benefits emerge, or what ideals does it represent. According to the objective, the brand sets itself. Transforming the category implies endowing the product with its own separate identity. So here comes the trademark law, which is an interesting concept called secondary meaning. And over time, a brand acquires secondary meaning through advertising and through usage. And this secondary meaning is in effect a measurement of the culmination of a brand strategy. For example, a caterpillar. This refers to it's not quite an insect yet, but it refers to an insect-like creature that becomes an insect. And so that's what the word caterpillar means. But the word caterpillar has also acquired secondary meaning as the identity of a brand of earth-moving equipment. And in that context, Caterpillar has acquired massive secondary meaning, and it stands for strength and hardness and progress and construction and diesel clatter and the color yellow. So Caterpillar as a brand has acquired all of this secondary meaning, and so part of brand strategy is all about building the right type of secondary meaning for your brand. So we talk a little bit about brand, and when we talk about strategy, we're really talking about the concentration of effort, How do we focus effort? How do we focus communication? And how do we focus energy so that you'll break through all the noise and the clutter? And how do you differentiate your brand from the others? So having a great brand strategy pays huge dividends for a product or a brand or a service. 1, you can charge higher prices. Then 2, you can enjoy great customer loyalty. And you can also have some protection, though not complete, but at least you will have some protection from the economics ups and downs of business life cycles. You also have some insulation or caution to protect you against adverse publicity, and it makes all of your advertising investments and marketing investments work better and be more effective if the brand strategy is right?
So, in the strategic implications of branding, brand is also a long-term vision. The brand should have its own specific point of view on the product category. Like for major brands, they have more than just a specific or dominating positions in the market, which they hold a certain position within that category. And this position and conception both energize the brand and feed the transformations that are implemented for matching the brand's products with its ideals. It is also this conception that justifies the brand's existence, its reason for being on the market, and provides it with a guideline for its life cycle. So these major brands build their reputation and they keep it survives. Major brands can also be compared to a pyramid, as you can see in the figure. The top states the brand's vision and purpose. Its conception of automobiles, for instance, its idea of the types of cars it wants and has always wanted to create, as well as its very own values, which either can or cannot be expressed by a slogan. So in this level leads to the next one down, which shows the general brand style of communication. Indeed, brand personality and style are conveyed less by words than by a way of being and communicating. And these codes should not be exclusively submitted to the fluctuating inspiration of the creative team, alright? So they must be defined so as to reflect the brand's unique character. So the next level presents the brand's strategic image features. Amounting to 4 or 5, they result from the overall vision and materialize in the brand's products, communication, and actions. So this refers, for example, to the positioning of Volvo as a secure, reliable, and robust brand, or of BMW as a dynamic, classy, and prestigious one. And lastly, the product level. At the bottom of the pyramid consists of each model's positioning in its respective segment. So moving on to the brand act as a genetic program. So what does it mean? This means that brands are built and exert a long-term influence on customers' memories, which in turn influence their expectations, attitudes, and degree of satisfaction. Brand is deep in people's minds, determines the way people remember it during its lifetime. Like for example, kada moingon tao, palit ako dito og Colgate pero kanang close up ha, or palit dito og Coca pero kanang Pepsi. And that's because of long-term association. But despite sa mga naandan nato nga mga products, people are still ready to give another chance on other products such as on cell phones ha, Samsung and Apple rising market share, which is proven na puhinon sila karon. But there's a point to remember that a failure of a product does not affect the brand itself. Kay, ang brand can survive even if the product fails. A company can recreate the brand on the basis of the original idea or is stimulating the original genetic program. However, they should not use the same product which was discontinued to recreate brand. For example, the Volkswagen Beetle. So this should not move away from their genetic program which helped them to attract buyers. So in respect the brand contract, the brand becomes credible only through the persistence and repetition of their value proposition.
Like for example, on BMW had the same promise since 1959. Future orientation and adaptability have always defined the BMW Group's identity as a company. And ever since it was founded in 1916, the BMW Group has played an important role in shaping the future of mobility. It has done so by constantly reinventing itself, evolving from an aircraft engine manufacturer to a motorcycle producer and then a car maker. Today,
the BMW Group encompasses the BMW minivan, the BMW Motorrad, and Rolls-Royce brands, as well as a large number of mobility services and BMW financial services.
And through time, they become quasi-contract, unwritten but most effective. This contract binds both parties. So each brand is free to choose its values and propositions, but once chosen and advertised, they become the benchmark for customer satisfaction, which therefore, they must not only meet the latter, but also continuously try to improve all their products, even the most basic ones, especially if they represent most of their sales and hence act as a major vehicle of brand image. In doing so, they will be able to satisfy the expectations of clients who will demand that the products keep pace with technological change. The brand will have to support its internal and external costs all on its own. These are generated by the brand requirements, such as closely forecast the needs and expectation of potential buyers, react to technological progress, provide both volume and quality at the same time to ensure the repeat purchases, control supply quantity and quality, deliver products or services to intermediaries both consistently over time and in accordance with their requirements in terms of delivery, packaging, and overall conditions. Taking the brand seriously, as it is, that is as a contract, is much more demanding, but it also provides higher returns. And so this follows the product and the brand relationship. Suppose a consumer wants to buy a new car because of the birth of his or her fourth child. These major events create a new set of expectations, some tangible and some intangible. This consumer wishes to buy a minivan with 2 sliding doors, high flexibility within the cabin, and of course, a reliable, secure brand with credentials and stamp status. By looking at the internet sites or at the magazines or visiting dealers, it is possible to identify those models with the requested visible attributes, the size, the flexibility, the sliding doors, and whatsoever. But now, what about the invincible attributes, like the experiential ones? So as you can see in the figure, this reminds us the double nature of brands. People buy branded products or services, but branding is not a substitute for marketing, which both are needed though.
Psychologists have also identified the halo effect as a major source of value created by the brand. The fact that knowing the name of the brand does influence consumers' perception of the product advantages beyond what the visible cues had themselves indicated, not to speak of the invisible advantages. Finally, attached to the brand, there are pure intangible associations, which stem from the brand's values, vision, philosophy, its typical buyer, its brand personality, and so on. These associations are the source of emotional ties beyond product satisfaction. In fact, in the car industry, they are the locus of consumers' desires to possess a brand.
So, strategic implications of branding is that in each brand, it needs a flagship product. So when we say flagship, it is a major product of a company, which is typically where the company was founded or what it made well known. For example, MS-DOS, Windows, and Microsoft Office have been a flagship product of Microsoft. The Photoshop is a major product of Adobe Systems. And the Mac, iPhone, and iPad are flagship products of Apple. So as the given brand will not be jeopardized by competitors offering similar products unless they are large quantities of the latter. There also problem arises when brands within the same group overlap too much. with one preventing the other from asserting its identity. So, it is when several brands sell the same product that a brand can become a caricature of itself. So, moving on to the brands and other signs of quality. In many sectors, brands coexist with other quality signs. The food industry, for instance, is also filled with quality seals, certificate of norm compliance, and controlled origin of guarantees. In this spread of signs results from double objective, which is to promote and to protect. Like FDA approved and halal certified and ISO certified, this is one way of leveling up one's business. So quality seals are promotional tools. From the corporate point of view, choosing between brand policy and collective signs is a matter of strategy and of available resource allocation. In doing so, they seek to become a reference of themselves and where they convey clusters of attributes and values. So in conclusion, branding is an important activity to a company whether it sells products or services. Branding also gives some benefit to the company, which is provide special attraction for consumers. It is easier to get customer loyalty. Open your chance to set a higher selling price, a feature that distinguishes your product with a competitor's product, and these can boost the sales and gain more profit.
And so that's all for the strategic implications of branding.